Good afternoon. Good afternoon once again. Still not very happy. Can we do it once again? 1, 2, 3. Good afternoon, all of you. That's perfect, right. Okay. Now, Josephites, right? How many of you attended my last session, which happened in November? Raise your hands. And as you remember, this is high in confidence and this is low in confidence, right? Either you are married or you are not married. You cannot be almost married. Okay. Okay. So let's jump to the session, right? At the expense of repetition, lot of you already know this slide, level 10, but parents do not know this slide. So this is a very profound slide, and whenever I start my presentation and wherever I start my session, I always start my session with this slide called level 10. Let's try and understand what does it mean. Level 10 means the highest level. You know, whatever you do in your life that needs to be done with a lot of passion, a lot of integrity, a lot of discipline, and lots of charisma. If you do that, you become successful in life. The point is, are you conducting yourself at level 10? My commitment, my friends, I will deliver for next half an hour at level 10. The only commitment which I'm looking for from my august audience that you will listen to whatever I say at level 10. My friends, can I take this as a commitment? Yes or no? I can't hear you. Yes or no? Yes. Perfect. Right? So, kehte hain, the name of the game is listening skills. You cannot become a good communicator unless you're a good listener. You cannot become a good manager, scientist, engineer, teacher, human being, father, mother, unless you're a good listener. So especially, ma'am was mentioning about technology these days, we are becoming bad listeners. We don't want to listen and we have this complaint, parents, sunta hi nahi hai. Am I right? Okay. So let's listen carefully. Okay. Next slide. Why this session, right? As I mentioned, sir also mentioned, a very important session, right? Friends, what happens, there are two kinds of decisions we take in our life. One is a functional decision, and second is a strategic decision, right? A functional decision is a routine decision, which we keep taking, after 5 minutes, 10 minutes, coming here, listening to me. It's kind of a functional decision. Mama wants to cook something in her house, and she'll think about it, whether I cook rajma chawal or I cook something else. So she'll think about it, and she'll cook. Now, if she's cooked rajma chawal, do you think the outcome will be of chane chawal or chole chawal? Banaya to kuch aur tha? No. Decision to tha na. So we keep taking these small decisions in life. Doesn't matter. You can take these decisions on the basis of emotions. You can take these decisions on the basis of emotions. Now there is one more decision which is known as strategic decision. I become a CEO of a company and I have to invest 1,000 crore rupees in a particular segment. I cannot take that decision on the basis of emotion. Raat ko sapna aaya, pahunch gaye. Will this happen? No. I will take that decision on the basis of facts, figures, statistics and data. Are we connected? Choosing a career, choosing subjects is a strategic decision. Hence this session, hence this entire event. Okay? So we'll present you some data, right? So please make a note of that so that we don't make errors. Lot of time when we are there in class 12 and we learn, अरे मुझे ये करना था, ये तो पता ही नहीं चला, and I've dropped this particular subject, we make a fundamental error. Should not be done. Okay? Okay, next slide. Before I start my presentations, there may be some focus on particular subject. At the same time, very important slide, right? No single subject is great, better, or average. Please understand, every subject is important for our society and economy. Having said that, it becomes our duty to tell you what is mandatory to pursue a particular course, India or overseas, and what is not. Are we connected? But please ensure this slide is critical. Okay? Yeah. Next slide. So we straight away jump to careers, right? The first career which we've picked up is business management and economics, right? Josephites, do we all remember that Cadbury's wala case study which we did? How many of you remember his hands? Fantastic. I love you for this, right? So business management. So we're not going to talk on careers, right? Maybe I'll just touch upon it, but we'll not go into the depth. That time we did a good 10 minutes case study on this. Business management, You have a small product. How do you ensure that the product or a startup or an individual becomes a billion-dollar enterprise? Is management. What do you manage? You manage your people. You manage your finances. You manage your operations. You manage your time. Right? When you manage marketing, when you're able to manage all these functions, you can scale up a product, right? So in case you want to do this, right, next slide, in India, right, in India, so let's start with business management. So there was a time when, at our time, a lot of parents would also know, to get into IIM, we used to take, we used to do what, engineering or BBA or BCom or maths honors or English honors, any graduation, and then used to sit for a test called CAT, and then we used to get into IIMs. There used to be only 6 IIMs, Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Calcutta, Lucknow, Indore, and Kozhikode. Then came new IIMs, then came baby IIMs. Today there are 21 IIMs in the country, out of which 5 IIMs, no, now 6, they offer you a program right after class 12th. And that program is known as IPM, Integrated Program for Management. A lot of Josephites have already done that, and they're doing very, very well in their careers. Utsav Thaplyal is one, right? So Indore, right? Rohtak, Ranchi, Bodhgaya, Jammu, and Nagpur. Maths is not compulsory. It's not compulsory. It's not a requirement. But in the entrance exam, you will find a lot of questions from mathematics syllabus. So more or less, it is important. Connected? Right. Then Delhi University, mathematics is compulsory for both, for economics and for business management. So there's a college called Shahid Sukhdev College of Business Studies, which is probably the #1 college in India, right, for 3-year graduation undergrad course in business management. Okay, so it is compulsory for Bachelors of Management Studies, Bachelors of Business Economics, Bachelors of Finance and Investment Analysis. If you do not have maths, unfortunately, you cannot apply, right? Narsi Munji, again, it is compulsory, right, for both economics and business management. Symbiosis, Christ and Xavier's, mathematics for Bachelors of Management Studies, which is BBA. Mathematics is not compulsory. It is not compulsory. It is compulsory only for economics. So there, they don't call it as Eco Honors, they call this course as BSc in Economics, which is same. Economics is always a quantitative subject. Mathematics is a requirement. Are you with me? Right? Next slide. Business management economics overseas. Mathematics is compulsory for all the major universities. What would Ivy Leagues means? Ivy League, these are top universities of the United States. Brown, Cornell, Columbia, Dartmouth, University of Pennsylvania, Harvard, Princeton, and Yale. 8 universities. Right? Oxbridge. What do I mean by when I say Oxbridge? Oxford and Cambridge. So mathematics is a compulsory requirement for economics as well as business management, right? London School of Economics, University College London. Then we come to Canada, University of Toronto, UBC, McGill, McMaster, York, Calgary, Alberta, right? All top Canadian universities. Mathematics for business management course is a compulsory requirement. And I'll tell you why as well, right? University of Amsterdam, which is in Netherlands. ESSEC is in Paris. It's one of the top business schools. Mathematics is a compulsory requirement. I'll also tell you why it is important, right? Next slide. BCom honors and BCom in India. Now there is a change here. Before the advent of CUET, we all know today, if you want to apply to any central university, including Delhi University, now there is an entrance examination, right? Now it used to be like, non-mathematics were not allowed to apply for BCom. Today, if you are from commerce background and you have accounts, you do not have maths, you can apply for both BCom honors and BCom, both courses. Mathematics is needed for people who have not studied accounts. So if you are from, let's say, humanities or science background and you want to go for BCom, you realize it after 12, now you want to change, then you have to take mathematics ka exam. Then mathematics is compulsory. Also in CUET, you have to appear for the test. Right? That's for BCom honors. For BCom pass, there is a test called GT, which stands for General Test, where you get basic mathematics, general awareness, and English. You have to appear for that test. Done? But for BCom honors, now in Delhi University, mathematics for commerce students is not a compulsory requirement. Okay, next. Okay, business analytics. Now this is a new specialization. I touched upon it the other day, if you remember. If you remember, how does a driverless car moves? I told you it moves on the principle of artificial intelligence, big data, and machine learning, right? So today, we are using artificial intelligence very heavily in all the business functions. Today, there is a new specialization which has come up called HR analytics, financial analytics, right? So to make pinpoint accurate business decisions, you need a lot of data, and a lot of data is used to take those decisions. So when you browse something, when you touch your mobile phone, you're Googling out, you're producing data. That data is relevant for somebody, that somebody will try and make sense out of it and pitch you products, right? So when data science and business management combines, it gives birth to a career called business analytics. Now, what is happening, it is required everywhere, and hence mathematics is becoming a compulsory requirement. Data means maths. Are we connected? Are we connected? Great. So, the Ivy Leagues, Oxbridge, LSE, it's almost same. It is a compulsory requirement, India and overseas. Next slide. Okay, let's come to humanities, right? Okay. Next. Psychology in India. So, when I say any stream, people from science, people from commerce, people from humanities, any subject you have taken, it really doesn't matter. You can apply. Right? Even if you've not done psychology in class 11th and 12th, it's fine. But some colleges might ask you questions on psychology. So it is advice in case you want to pursue psychology. So take this as a subject, but it is not a compulsory requirement. Right? These are the top colleges: LSR, JMC, Gargi, Kamala Nehru, Christ University in Bangalore, Ashoka, and TISS, Tata Institute for Social Sciences. Next slide. Psychology overseas. Mathematics is a compulsory requirement. Why? Overseas, it's a very research-based course. And when we say research, research means data, data means maths. Okay? So this is where a lot of people make a fundamental error, and then they don't realize. In case you want to apply abroad, overseas, and study psychology, word of caution, please sign up with mathematics. It's a compulsory requirement. Even for the mediocre rank universities overseas in UK, it's a compulsory requirement, right? So please don't do that. These are the top universities, please. Next. Media studies. Anybody in India, right? India, any stream, these are the top universities. Also, not many people are aware that even Delhi University top colleges like LSR, right, DCAC, IP College for Women, Delhi School for Journalism, Kalindi, they all offer you media program, media and journalism. In fact, LSR has a famous journalism program, right? You don't know specific subject requirement. Anybody can apply, right? St. Xavier's, Christ, Mount Carmel College, Bangalore, Symbiosis Institute for Mass Communication. These are the top colleges in India. Anybody can apply. There is a simple entrance test. You don't need any preparation. Josephites can easily do it. The kind of level we have here, primarily it is English. You get reading comprehension, vocabulary and grammar, and some questions on general awareness. Mathematics, very basic maths of 9th and 10th in some colleges like SIMC. Right? It's a basic test, very basic test. Okay, next. Okay, media overseas, only one college, very few colleges, I mean, what I remember, only one college requires mathematics, that is King's College London. So we can say that maths is not required for overseas. University of Amsterdam, which happens to be #1 in the world, mathematics used to be a compulsory requirement, but not anymore. They've waived it off. Right? So anybody can apply. Okay. Next. Law. These are the top colleges, right? And Josephites are cracking law every year, right? Starting from Bhuvanya to Yash, right? Every year some Josephites are getting into National Law School, Bangalore and Hyderabad. These are the top colleges in India. There are 21 national law universities. There is an entrance test, which is known as CLAT, Common Law Aptitude Test. No specific subject is required, right? So anybody can apply. So in case law is your is something which you are looking at, choose your subjects wisely, so that you are focused, right? Next, overseas, For law, unfortunately, you cannot apply in US right after class 12th. You cannot apply in Canada. Why? Because law, you can sign up for law and medical sciences only after an undergrad degree, which means you have to do one degree there in the respective country for 4 years, and then only you can apply for a law school. The degree is known as JD, Juris Doctor. In entire Europe, Germany, Netherlands, France, Italy, law is taught in their own language. So again, there is a problem. The only good place and the best place to study law for Indians would be UK. The best universities will be obviously Oxbridge, Oxford and Cambridge, London School of Economics, UCL, King's College London. There is a very basic test called LNAT, which is nothing but English. So ma'am was emphasizing on the importance of reading. It's the thing. If you don't read, you're asking for trouble. If you read, you'll become a rock star. Right? Okay. So that's it. Okay. Next. Political science, international relations, history, India and overseas, any stream, no subject, no specific subject. Even mathematics is not a compulsory requirement. Right? Though some universities do mention, like Sciences Po, which is probably the #1, right, for international relations, and very cost effective. It's the amount of money which you spend is as good as what you spend in India. Amazing place to go and study. Sometimes they mention we give preference, but I have seen people who were from non-maths background, they've also made it. So it is not compulsory, but these are the top universities: Harvard, LSE, Sciences Po, and Delhi University, of course, right? Okay, next. Okay, now let's come to the engineering part, right? Okay, where a lot of people want to go, right? How many of you want to go for engineering? Oh, great, okay. Okay, and how many of you want to go for law? Media studies? Okay, great, wow. So these are the top university, of course, we all know. IITs, NITs, VITs and the Thappars. These are the top engineering colleges in India, and we all know. I don't think there is anybody sitting in this classroom who would not know that PCM is a compulsory requirement, right? So let's come to the next slide. In case you want to study engineering overseas, okay? So mathematics and physics, which means you may drop chemistry. That's possible, right? Right? Some may accept without chemistry if not doing chemical engineering. However, to make competitive application, it is advised to take up. So, having said that, it is not advised. Because what if you also want to apply in India? Am I right? Which is recommended. I mean, India is doing really well. I mean, the entire world, there is a recession except India. Right? So, by no way we are saying that applying overseas is great and India is not. We're not saying that, but it's our responsibility to tell you what is right and what is not. Okay, let's come back. In case you are looking at overseas, these are the top universities: MIT, Oxford, Stanford, NTU, NUS would be in Singapore, Cambridge, we all know, HKUST, Hong Kong University of Science and Technology. How do we get scholarships in these universities? We'll cover. I'll spend 2-3 minutes there as well. University of Toronto, UBC, and NYU, UC Berkeley, and TU Delft. TU Delft is one of the top universities in the world for engineering. It's again in Netherlands. Very cost effective, right? And the education is absolutely world class, right? So, maths and physics, right? Having said that, it is recommended that you take chemistry as well, because you never know, you may want to apply in India as well. Next. Medicine, India, we all know physics, chemistry, biology, right? Right? And these are the top colleges. Let's come to the next slide. Medicine overseas, this is where the catch is, right? Mathematics is a compulsory requirement, which means you have to sign up with PCMB. Okay? One, you cannot apply for medical science. As I said, in US, right after class 12, in Canada, it cannot be done. Europe, primarily it is taught in their own language. Countries like Philippines, Ukraine, it is not recommended. Please don't do that. Everybody gets admission there. Don't go there, right? So a very good place to go for medical science, in case you're looking at overseas options, would be UK. So there is a test called UCAT and BMAT, which you are expected to take. right? It's a reasoning-oriented test, right? Logical reasoning, critical reasoning, inferential reasoning is what they check you on. The deadlines is very important. It's 15th of October for normal applications, otherwise it's January, but for medical sciences and Oxbridge applications, it is 15th of October. These are the top schools, right? Right, so you would have to study all 4 subjects in case you are looking at overseas. That's an issue, very big issue. Right, next. Biotechnology in India, again, physics, chemistry, biology, except IITs. So in case, except IIT, in case you want to study biotechnology, it's like PCB. In case you are looking at IIT, mathematics is also required. Again, all 4 subjects would be needed. Ultimately, to study, because biotechnology is also a branch of engineering, and you get into IIT by taking JEE. So, all 4 subjects would be needed, right? Next. Biotechnology overseas, right? Biology, chemistry, you may choose between mathematics and physics. Right? Okay? Yeah. Next. Architecture in India. It's been around 5 years now. The rules have changed. There was a time 10 years pehle, even commerce students were allowed to do architecture in India. There was a test called NATA, right? Through NATA, you can apply to private good engineering colleges. But what they did, they first introduced mathematics. Now they realize, since it's a branch of engineering, now only science people can apply. Right? Logically as well, right? These are the top colleges, and what you need is PCM. So IIT Roorkee is #1 in the country, IIT Kharagpur, School of Planning and Art, and CEPT University, which is in Ahmedabad, right? So they have their own entrance exam. Okay, and yeah, next slide. Architecture overseas, the requirement for all countries would be different, which would mean for USA, mathematics #1, physics, art, plus portfolio. Your portfolio needs to be extremely strong. Your major part of your application depends upon your portfolio. UK, mathematics plus portfolio. Canada, maths plus physics. These are the top universities. MIT is #1 in the world. We all know that. Rice is again in United States. Virginia, Cambridge, St. Andrews in Scotland. University of Toronto in Canada. Right? Okay. Next. Designing in India or overseas, any stream. No specific subject requirement. Right? For that matter, we all know, I covered that in my last presentation, that today, even IITs in India are offering you design course. IIT Mumbai, IIT Guwahati, right? And it's not that you apply through JEE, you apply through a test called UCEED. And the courses which you can study is user experience design, user interface design, graphic design, industrial design, and some remarkable courses. And only 10,000 people are applying. Okay? Having said that, it's still difficult. No specific subject requirement. Anybody can apply. But there is an entrance test which is extremely logical. Right? And these are the top places. Royal College of Arts is, though it's #1 in the world, but it doesn't offer you a UG programs. That's the reason I have not mentioned it here, right? Otherwise, these are the top places. NID, Design Academy, Andover, MIT, Pratt. Okay, next. Okay. Scholarships abroad, right? How do we get scholarships overseas? These are the top places. #1, please ensure that you keep focusing on your grades. Please ensure that you keep focusing on your grades. Your grades right from class 9th onwards. Are you with me? Your grades from 9th onwards. In case you're applying to United States, there is a concept called transcripts. Your 9th marks, your 10th marks, your 11th marks, your 12th marks, all are very important. Please never, never, never compromise on your grades. In case you want to study overseas, or even when you want to study in India. A lot of people think that now, since the CUET is coming and grades will not be important. That's a huge mistake. It's a very big misconception. Please don't do that. It can be a very, very big mistake. Okay? Overseas, if you want to apply, if you do not have 95%, Oxford and Cambridge will not even look at your application. Singapore, Below 97, it is not happening. So what I'm saying is, I'm not scaring you, but it should be good. It should be good marks. Whatever you can, don't compromise. Number one, high academic index. Okay? Right from class 9th onwards. Your good SAT score, advanced placement tests, participate in Olympiads as much as possible, do some impact activities. I've already covered that in my last presentation, if you remember. If today Greta Thunberg or Yusuf Malala wants admission in Harvard, the universities will be more than happy to give them because they've done something remarkable for their community. Try and identify a problem in your community, try and solve that and ensure that it becomes like a movement. Make your own website, create a project, create a team, leadership impact. Research acumen. Write articles. Get them published in some good journal. A lot of people, participate in some international conference. It's easy, it sounds difficult. But this is what you're looking at. You need to build your remarkable profile. Your grade should be very good. Your SAT score should be good. You definitely get scholarship. You get huge scholarships. HKUST, which is higher than IIT Bombay in ranking, I'm telling you because a lot of Josephites do get amazing marks. You get 98%, 100% scholarship. You don't have to pay a single rupee. 96 and above, 66% scholarship. 94, admit. No scholarship. But the cost is not that high, which would be there in United States. And even US gives you some generous scholarships, right? Okay, so that's how it is done, right? University of Canada, University of Toronto. I remember one student got from Dehradun only 100% scholarship. Even the living was taken care. So we need to think, and if we work hard, and probably your school is one of the best in the country, and it is giving you remarkable opportunities to build your profile, your extracurricular activities, everything is happening here. Just have a look, talk to teachers, and you can actually do that, okay? Next. So, what's needed, right? Making the right decision, as Pritima ma'am said, right? It's about taking right decisions at the right time. Taking the right decision is critical, and this is the reason your school, which is a visionary school, I've actually conducted this session so as to ensure that you don't make errors in your choices, right? And of course, planning, right planning at the right time. You need to plan it in advance. A lot of people start planning in class 12th, it can become late, very late, right? Yeah. Next. Okay, last slide, right habits. Okay. Last time we did a lot of humor and a lot of motivation, a lot of videos. So this was an information session, but I still thought I'll put one last slide. Friends, I was a very average student. I was an extremely average student. I never used to get good marks. My English was bad, it was pathetic. I never thought in my wildest of dreams that one day I'll become a trainer. Today, with the grace of God, I've become a public speaker, right? Thanks to right habits. Right? What do you read? What do you watch? What do you talk? And who do you talk to? Everything is extremely critical, my friends. Try and understand. How do you spend your time? Are you spending your time on Instagram and Netflix, or are you spending your time on Kindle? Choice is yours. Are you with me? And that's absolutely true. And so maybe an advice for parents. The culture has to start from parents as well. So if I'll pick up my phone and I'll be glued to my phone, so I am like a role model to my kids. Am I right? So the culture has to start. Culture has to change right from houses. Am I right? Yes or no? So please start reading. Read newspapers, editorial page every day, at least Sunday. Articles of people like Swaminathan Iyer, Gucharanda, Shashi Tharoor, M.K. Nair, C.K. Vyas, Sabandas Gupta. Amazing people. Read. It's a great resource. And if you start reading your critical thinking, your inferential reasoning, everything will improve, and hence it gets reflected in the entrance exams. Every entrance exam in the world. So, And this was written by what? Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. What is the similarity and commonality between any great individual on this planet? They all had right habits. Next. Thank you so much, and thank you, brother, for giving me this opportunity. Yeah, thank you, Raman sir, Sumit sir, Pritima ma'am, Sheetal ma'am. Thank you, parents and Josephites, very energetic students, for having me here. Really honored. Next slide. Next slide. Yeah. So we can spend some 5-10 minutes maybe on questions in case you have. So, yeah. So can we?
Hi. So there was no mention of liberal arts anywhere.
No specific subject requirement.
That I'm aware of.
Yeah.
What prospects? Don't you think you should just enlighten us a little?
I'll do that. Yeah, my apologies. First and the foremost thing, we need to understand what is liberal art. The concept started from United States, right? And then we have Ivy League universities there, and then we have public Ivies. Then a concept came called Little Ivies. For example, Colgate University, Vassar University, Williams and Mary University. These are the top universities which actually initiated this concept of liberal art education. Children are sometimes very confused, even in class 11th, 12th. I still remember, if you go to IIMs, you will find about 80% people who are applying to IIMs are from engineering background, out of which 25-30% are IITians. So even at that age, people are confused. So how can we expect a class 10th, 11th or a 12th standard child to take an informed decision to commit yourself to a very specific field? And hence this concept of liberal art came, which means there are colleges which gives you an opportunity. You can pick up some subjects from science, you can pick up subjects from humanities, and you can pick up subjects from commerce as well. You can design your own course in the first year. Second year, depending upon your level of comfort and your aptitude, then you decide your majors, minors, and concentrations. Right? So today, the best institution in India would be Ashoka University, then Kriya, then Flames is doing reasonably well, Christ, and these are the top places. And in case you are confused, look at the curriculum of the respective university, and then you can make an informed decision. And definitely, even companies today are looking at people who are they have knowledge about different fields. So today you can pick up mathematics, anthropology, theater, literature, physics, and you can combine a course. Have I answered your question, ma'am? Okay. Anyone else? I have not even mentioned defense forces, right? Right. For army, science is not required, mathematics is compulsory, but for Air Force and Navy, PCM is needed.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a very, very nice session. And
my pleasure.
This is sort of a question also and suggestion also. I was watching the entire presentation. Nowadays, there is one more field wherein I think as a school also we should encourage the children to do that, or to at least be aware of that. And in our career counseling also, we should be at least highlighting that. That is the entrepreneurship.
Why not?
Right? It is because it's a trend, and it's currently also people are opting it, and basically at a school level also, and in the career counseling, if we encourage students to become entrepreneurs, what entrepreneurship is, I think it will further boost their interest into this, and you don't have to be very, very highly academic in order to be an entrepreneur, and in school activities also entrepreneurship can be learned. It is not pertaining to the only scoring very, very high marks, you can be an entrepreneur. So this is my suggestion also, and in case you can tell us.
Yeah, my apologies, but I covered that in my last session, which we did actually with class 10th, 11th, and 12th. So I did touched upon that. Also, we had little time constraint today. So yeah. So we need to. No, very valid, very, very valid suggestion.
You can tell us or share some colleges or some institutions?
See, sir, entrepreneurship is,
It cannot be. Yeah.
there are colleges which offers you a program, but those are all business management programs. For example, in IIM Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Calcutta, Lucknow. So there is a specialization in entrepreneurship. So when you learn to do business and you learn all the functions, today you learn technology also under management. It basically leads to entrepreneurship. So more or less it was kind of touched upon as well. Right?
Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Your right side.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I wanted to ask how to increase the grade point average for a college application and how to have a perfect amount of college application forms like achievements and how to set a perfect college application for overseas university.
First of all, how to increase your grades?
GPA, grade point average.
Work hard.
And college applications.
This is very tricky. In which country are you targeting?
US, UK.
Nobody can give you this formula just like that. First of all, you tell me what is your SAT score. Now,
1.5.
SAT. Okay. So unless we have your SAT score, no one in the world can suggest you universities. That's number one. If you do not know your profile, nobody can suggest you universities. I can suggest you universities across the world. Canada, UK, entire Europe, Australia, New Zealand, anywhere. Not in United States. Unless we know your SAT score, unless we know your class 10th score, 9th score, 11th score, predicted grades in class 12th. Once we have this data in front of us, it'll take me 1 hour only. For that matter, anybody, even your teachers can tell you. Right? But before that, it'll be meaningless to talk about it.
And about the recommendations.
Recommendations what?
About college, like teachers and
Yeah, your school does it. You have a remarkable department. I mean, you have some amazing teachers. They do it. Yeah. So it's everything is in place. Don't worry. Your school will take care. Okay. Last question, yeah?
Good morning, sir.
Good
My
a-
name is Shinoy, and I wanted to ask you, like, for business studies, do we need basic maths of till class 10th, or do we need maths of class 11th and 12th also? Like to become
11,
an
12th.
entrepreneur
El-
and all.
See, to become an entrepreneur, you don't need to study anything. Right? To become an entrepreneur, if you have that passion, zeal, you study humanities, you study engineering, you become a lawyer. You can become an entrepreneur. You need to have that zeal, passion, and the right attitude. Attitude. What does our attitude means? Your ability to handle difficult situations in life. Remember, last session, your attitude in life decides your altitude in life, and your attitude will also help you build up your aptitude towards everything in this world. That's needed. Nothing else.
And so, like, if you want to build a like business in computers, so do we need maths for that also?
Yes. For computer science, mathematics is a compulsory requirement.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Don't do BCA. Never do BCA as a course. A lot of people, they want to do computer science, but they realize, I don't want to do engineering, but let me do BCA. What it does, a lot of companies, they are looking at 16-year education. Top companies, top IT companies. Even for that matter, you want to go abroad for doing MBA or MS, US or Canada. If you do not have a 16-year education, a 4-year degree, you're not eligible. So it should be only engineering in case you are looking at computer science.
Thank you so much, sir.
Ma'am has a question. Please.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
There are a lot of changes that have been applied in NEP when it comes to the higher education, the internationalization
Of course.
you're talking about. Could you just elaborate something on that as well?
Lot of things. The number one change which has happened that, once you enter your college, you can leave your college after 1 year. You get a certificate course. After 2 years, you get a diploma. 3 years, you get a degree. 4 years, you want to continue, you get an honors degree. That's one course. Okay. You can even change your college, universities, and the credit transfer has become very, very easy. And then third one, which is very relevant, is now There was a time when at 99.75% people were not getting admission in Stephens. Today, last year only, I know of a student, at 93%, one girl got admission in St. Stephen's College, that too in economic honors, thanks to CVT. That's another change. So there are a lot of changes which are, reforms are very important. A lot of foreign universities will be now, very soon will be allowed to set up campuses here in India. So definitely, so moving in the right direction. Yeah. Right? Right? So, thank you so much. Thanks, Zatan. Bye-bye.
To listen to a long session, it's not that easy. For some of us, it's boring. Some of us, it's very interesting. So on behalf of the parents, Manuj Mittal, I would like to thank you for taking your time and being part of this decision making. End of the day, we have to make decision. And someone was talking about entrepreneur. Yes, it's a new thing that has come. Every individual can be an entrepreneur, right? So my humble request to parents, if you have some suggestions, you can always leave the note or send an email. You have some resource person. Because I remember last year, one of our students called Suhani Anand, she wrote an entrance test for scholarship on her own. She found out and the parent came to me and said, brother, there are so many opportunities are available for students. Now the school may not be exploring all these things, but you as parents, if you have such awareness, you can always put it across to us and we are there to make those resources available for you. Right, so on behalf of the staff, coordinators and parents and of course students, thank you so much. I request Mr. Krusharan to present this memento to Mr. Manuj Mittal. Let's put our hands together for him. Thank you so much. Right, Manuj.